Hey folks, Tommy D. We're going to go ahead and talk about the 750 today, the 80 Super Sport. It started blowing some smoke, blue smoke on deceleration. It kept getting worse and worse. So I finally decided we're going to pull it apart and see what's going on. Let's check the plugs. So we're looking at the plugs here, and they are pretty dark. So I think we had a little blow-by going on too. I noticed that while the engine was running. So it's getting a little oil up into all the cylinders, so that's not good. So looks like we're going to have to maybe open it up, pull the motor, and see what's going on. Hate to do it, but yeah, let's find out what's going on so we can get it back up and running. First thing, we got all the brackets obviously out of the way. Then the frame comes apart there. So basically, I've got it supported on the 4x4s. And on this jack, the motorcycle jack, it works perfect. So it's pretty balanced, and you basically just take this thing, you lift it up a little bit to get it past here where the motor mount is. You lift it up a little bit. We've done that. We basically just are gonna slowly pull it out. Being careful not to nick the frame. See, you can do it pretty easily. And there you have it. Alright, so we got the motor out of and the valve cover off. So you can see the twin cams and all the valve train. Looks pretty clean up there, which I would expect. Everything looks pretty good. So we'll start tearing the motor, start pulling the cam gears and the valve train and all that, get it all out of there and start removing the head, tear it down, see what's going on. There's a good shot of the head with all the cams out of there and all the valve train except for the buckets. And there's one with the buckets removed. Here's a shot of the number 1 cylinder. Doesn't look too bad. Number 2, also not bad. A little carbon buildup. I think it's just from the oil getting into the cylinder there. Number 3 and number 4. Number 4 is the cleanest of them all. So we got the cylinder removed, and you can see there's some serious scoring in that wall of the number 3 cylinder. And what's interesting, it's on both sides, a couple gouges, so obviously we had some serious issues with that. So I'm not sure that's going to be saved, salvageable, other than maybe going a big bore over. So we'll have to do some measurements and see how deep that is, but it might be just cheaper to go with find a new set of cylinders and pistons off of eBay with low miles on them. That's probably what I'll end up doing. It's just cost effective versus getting them all slaved or bored. It can be expensive. So, bummer. So here's a couple close-ups of the gouging going on in the number 3 cylinder. We're going to have to figure out what happened here. So as I was looking at the pistons and looking at the number 3 cylinder there, I noticed the wrist pin was sticking out way beyond its where it's supposed to. Quite interesting. We'll have to see what's going on with that and check out the pistons. Once again, we're taking a look at them, and you can really see. I'm going to try and get close here, and hopefully this will show up. Put a little light on it. You can see as we spin around here, this area. Get my little pointer here. So you can see right here, that is the pin keeper. So it came loose, looks like, and then it just started tearing up the piston, and it got embedded into the piston, and that piston, the wrist pin, came out and ended up scoring the cylinder. You can see a piece of the pin right there, and then there's another one up on top as well, right there. So yeah, I tore it up pretty good. That would explain all the. Yeah, it looked like something happened on this side too. Some kind of scraping in there, right here, and a little bit there. I'm not sure if it's a leftovers of the pin, because the other, or the keeper, it's right there, the snap ring. So there's a final view of that piston. Got all tore up. Um, Here's the side of the case where the oil pump is. That's the drive. That's the starter and the ignition cams. There's the right side of the cases. We're ready to split them. We got everything off, the generator side and the ignition side, the clutch, water or oil pump. And so we're going to remove, we got all the bolts removed from the pan and all the bolts removed from the cases. So we're ready to remove this. Take a look. It doesn't look good either. Look, this is the pan on the CB750, and there's a lot of debris in there, as you can see. It so we expected that with the beating up of that number 3 cylinder, because it lost the clip. So we're pulling everything, and we're gonna clean it all up and go from there. It's pretty bad there. So we'll good thing we pulled it apart. We'll pull it apart. We're going to split the cases, and then we'll see what's going on with the crank and the rods and everything else. All right, here we go. We're going to pull the cases apart. And, all right. Well, not bad, not bad. The question we have is, how's the crankshaft? I just remember it's a lot cleaner now. Wow, it's this one here. Oh yeah. So you want to check that one out. Transmission looks pretty good. So the bearings look terrible. I mean, they're wasted. So the crank is not going to look that much better. You can see that they're burnt and they're just gone. So the material in the oil really got to them. You can see the marks on the crankshaft bearings here. So probably the best bet is to get a new crank and pistons and rods on eBay from a low mileage bike, because having that polished and then it would cost probably 3 times as much, if not more. So I think we're going to go out on eBay and find ourselves a whole reciprocating assembly. Here's our transmission, looks good. So anyway, off we go.